clapping, but when you listen to the lyrics of the song, or maybe because I seen the video, I don't know. But it's a child that's saying, I'm 16 and I'm ready to die. Now, many of us done grew up in that era where it's like, you know what, man, I'm just trying to make it to 18. You know, you ain't gonna live before 18. Uh, I wanted to set up a different panel and different individuals to come out because it's not a one situation or one demographic of us that's gonna help this thing get better because it's not just happening to youngers per se in the hood. We are a community. We are entertainers. We are artists. We are brothers. We are sisters. We are business owners. So I wanted to get the community together. So many of you, you can see these individuals on this panel. Those of you that's watching, you know some of them. Some of you don't. But they are just, I'm gonna call them all first responders. They heard the call and they said, you know what? I'm going to be who I am in my industry, and I'm going to lend some credence and some support to be what I am, just strictly what you are. Being what you are will allow you to be greatly impactful in the community that needs you right now. This evening we had to my right, well, I guess we'll go with ladies first. Ladies first.
Always.
Ladies first, we have Miss January. We call her January. January's the first, and her name is January. How befitting it that you go first. January is here. She is the proud owner, CEO of Black Women Rock, Black woman that deals with mental health. And she owns a mental health facility, Community Cares. So y'all help me welcome Miss January. How do I pronounce it? Levere. January Levere. How you doing, January?
I'm great.
Wonderful. And to my right, we have y'all know my man right here, the screenwriter, actor, producer. I was gonna say something else, but we on a good platform. Real, yeah. Y'all know my main man, Southeast.
Yep.
Man, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Like, I think we want to lend credence and show this platform. That's why I wanted to do it on this platform for people that don't know everything about everybody. You try to pigeonhole people. Y'all know Red Grant, comedian Red Grant, actor Red Grant. Come on, give me some love. Hometown, never fake, never played 50. Kept it 100 all the way through, and we appreciate you. And now you're transitioning into politics, and we're gonna get more into that. And to the right of you, you look a little different up here. How many of you know it can't be all us? Amen. If we're gonna get it together, we're gonna have to have some good people to get with us that don't look like us. Amen. Somebody. This is a good brother here, Mr. Malcolm. He is the developer at oh my God. How do I pronounce it again?
Optimal Contracting.
Optimum Contracting there. They service DC and Virginia. I think they're based in Virginia, yet they do work in the DMV area, DC and Maryland. Y'all show y'all love for all these tonight. So I guess we'll start with this. With victims and aggressors becoming younger, right? In this segment, we want to deal with our community. What is the role of the community? What is the role of mental health? And what is our role as individuals? I think on the line, we do have some individuals that are on via Zoom. And that's another black-owned business owner in that mental health field. How many of y'all know mental health is crucial right now? So we have, I think we have on the line, Mr. Herb Gray. He is the CEO of Life Enhancement Services there in Washington, D.C. in the Northeast section of town. Is he on the line? Okay, and then also, I hear you, Herb. How you doing? I'm new to TV, man. I'm new to it. Don't beat me down. Don't beat me down. And right beside Herb, we see the legendary owl of all of it, Sugar Bear from the legendary Experience Unlimited band. EU, what's happening, Bear?
God is great. I'm here. Everything good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good also. So we just want to dive into this, man. If y'all was on and y'all heard the councilman, both councilmen and even the state's attorney, they all pretty much said the same thing, and it's coming down to thinking, and it's coming down to mental health. So let's go with the mental health specialist as far as you, January. and you, Herb, you guys can speak to this. First, being a black man and a black woman, and we'll let the ladies go first. What prompted you to go into mental health?
Well, for me, it was very simple. Years ago, my husband and I, we were always involved in the community, giving back to the churches and just helping people. And someone approached us and said, you know, you can get paid for this. And we're like, no, but they wanted to do a franchise. And I wasn't into wanting to partner up with anyone. So I just took it in my hands. I was not a part of the field. I learned the business in and out. I worked with the clients in the field. I was the office manager, CEO, writing notes, doing everything. So I just kind of fell in the field, but I love it, helping people. And I like to call our clients family. And to this day, clients I used to work with years ago, like, they're still our family. We still talk to them.
You were in Prince George's County. We don't like when you say PG.
Yes, Prince George's County. Yes.
You see, I got the Maryland on. I'm definitely a Washingtonian. I love, but it's the DMV. I'm a DMV kid, so
You cannot say
got my
PG.
Maryland on today. You
Yes.
can't say PG.
No.
But Prince George's County, one being is one of the if not the wealthiest African American community, and is governed by African Americans. So we should lead the way in everything. I believe that we got the best minds and we got the bread. We should lead the way in everything. But when you're talking about mental health, that's a taboo of black people. You hear mental health, you're like, I ain't crazy.
Yeah, we don't like talking about it.
So Herb, you on the line. Herb, so you've come this way. You're an out of towner. Like most of us
Yep.
are from here. We love our community, and we wanted to do something here. But you've been at this 10, 15 years now.
Yeah.
And to come from, you're from North Carolina, I believe, right? But
Yeah, out
you've
of
been here in the
Charlotte,
district. You're doing a lot in the district. What prompted you to? What do you think is the greatest challenge with moving mental health to be palatable to our people?
Thanks, CJ, for allowing this platform for us to talk about it. Talk about an issue that sometimes in the African American community we're not really willing to talk about, but certainly it afflicts us as well as it afflicts everybody in each community. So again, I kind of go back and forth, but I've been open in DC for about 10 years. We work with about 1,000 people each and every week in the district. And so it prompted me because, I'm just a person that wants to do good by people, wants the best of our people. And the more I looked at it, I noticed that mental health was an area that we really were not given serious thought to, right? Meaning we didn't give the thought necessary to the trauma and afflictions of mental health care. And then we were not, as a group of people, we really didn't have the platform to say, it's okay to say I'm battling this, that, and the other, right? And so I recognized that if I could put together a great team of individuals who could have the care and the concern needed to work mainly with our people. I said we work with about 1,000 people, and I'd say about 99.9% of the people we work with in DC are African Americans. And so I must say, CJ, it was just a thought that I said that I think I could be part of a solution.
We thank you for your commitment, man, and for that movement. Now, y'all moving these cameras around. Red told me to find the one with the dots. So all of them got dots, man. You said the
All of
red
them got
dot.
dots.
Come on, man.
Just go to the person who's pointing at you now.
Red dot. Now go with the pointer. So we there's a role. Entertainers, right? And Sugar Bear, you're gonna talk to this because we're gonna have the real conversations, right? Music plays a lot in shaping the minds of youth, young adults, black people, right? So, I'm gonna keep it spiritual. The Bible says, as a man thinks, so is that man. So whatever you hear the most, if faith come by hearing, hearing come by the word, so whatever you're hearing the most, that's ultimately what you're gonna walk out. So as entertainers, or do entertainers, Sugar Bear, hold any type of responsibility for the content that's being put out that's kind of shaping the mind of individuals to walk out what they hear. Bear, that's for you. Cause you was in the go-go band. I done been to plenty go-go's and jumped up in the air when y'all got to saying I, and I would normally start a fight with somebody get punched in the eye. Anybody been to go-go in here?
Yeah, all of us.
Anybody ever heard EU in here? Do anybody remember when EU used to hit I? Well, let me take you back. Crystal Skate '87. It was a lot of fights outside and inside. So
Capital Center, Go-Go Live 1.
a go live, I know. So, Bear, you know, we're seeing a lot of entertainers transition from what we're known them to do as profession to who they are as persons. What balance or what responsibility do you feel, or what did you feel that made you move into and want to be a part of this tonight, and what you've been doing thus far?
Coming straight out of Southeast Washington, D.C., I never experienced what I'm seeing now, coming out of Valley Green public housing. What I'm seeing now in 2021 is sickening. Not only was it, first it was police brutality, but now it's black on black has outdone that by 100 to 1. And now they're killing babies, children, innocent babies. And that's why I said, hold on, enough is enough.
So
I mean, I know I'm late
Babe,
saying
I
this,
never
but
wanted to be
enough is
a
enough.
point the finger at the music, but I mean, we really gotta look at that. Like, if I'm hearing Percocet, Molly, and it's the #1 song in the country, and can I equate that to the rise in the opioid use amongst middle schoolers and high schoolers that consume the music the most? So I go to you, Red. So I know you as comedian and you telling jokes or whatever, what have you, doing movies as an entertainer, but you're a person first and foremost. Those is roles.
Right.
So now you're having a bid to shift into politics, and I think I heard run for mayor, right? So you know, some people say, what audacity do you have to
Right.
try to run? You don't know politics. I think we got too many politicians in places of politics, and we need some regular people. What is
And
your
as-
responsibility, or what prompted you to move forward?
Well, first, I'm a humanitarian first. I think, like, Sugar Bear, I know him personally. He's a humanitarian.
Well, I don't condone violence of no kind.
Me
My,
either.
my band has survived 50 years of
Absolutely.
nonviolent party music,
Yeah.
period.
That's true. That's true. But we know.
So-
Like, I'm from here, right?
So,
I
yeah, I know
remember the
what I'm saying.
police
For
was
those
shutting
who don't
down
know,
go-go's, or
EU is all of
legislation
them.
was
That's
trying
what-
to
that's
shut
what
down
EU
go-go's
It's
because
about
of the
a
violence.
united front.
I'm
That's
sorry.
what it's
we
about.
having a split.
United, people come together.
Are they hearing us? Okay,
No,
so
no
my
violence
bad.
nowhere in my songs. No violence in none of my concerts. No violence nowhere. I won't tolerate it. I will stop 20,000 people and send them home after one altercation.
What they used to say, one fight, good night.
Period.
Yeah, I remember that, one fight, good night.
Each one teach one.
So I appreciate that, Bear. But what we were saying, I don't know if we got cut off in the transition, but a lot of time the violence has been centered around music or concerts or clubs or things of that nature. It's like the let out
Nah,
stuff.
I disagree with that.
I'm not saying, not against you, Bear.
No,
I'm saying young people, normally
always
violence
gonna
happens where
scapegoat.
young people congregate. If there's a large crowd of young people sometimes in this day and time, then it's centered around either concert, a gathering, a group, or whatever. So as entertainers, sometimes not putting the responsibility on the entertainer, it's just we know where young people go to gather, and it's after some of those spillouts that we see the violence taking place. Is there anything as entertainers, any type of entertainer, a musician or a comedian,
I mean,
do they hold some not responsibility, but what prompted you to move?
All right, so a perfect example. This morning, me and my daughter was going to school. Every morning when I take my daughter to Johnson Middle School, we go on IG and we have fun. We party together, right? This morning was a song by Travis Scott. Somebody hit me and said, well, you know, you letting your daughter listen to, you know, things where a dude might talk about, you know, Percocets or whatever. And I told him straight up, you know, I'm a parent. I'm a parent, and when we were growing up, you listen to Tupac, he say what he say. You listen to Biggie, say what he say. But my mother was there to tell me, don't do certain things. My father was there to tell me, he raised me right. So I just think I agree with some of the councilmen that, we gotta parent our kids better, and the kids that don't have parents, the men in the community and the women in the community need to step up and start parenting again. Your sign back here, it says it takes a village, and we gotta become a village again. People question, why would Red Grant become, run for mayor? Because of the simple fact I'm a humanitarian first. I care about my community. I saw things happening in my community that I didn't like. I saw people being left out. I saw diversity, inclusion, and equity not being shared. It's just like a lot of things is going on. And when are we going to be the people who step up? I've been in the entertainment career, business for 31 years, since I was 19 years old. I learned a lot, but I've seen a lot over the years, and I've been to different cultures, and now I want to be able to share those cultures with our community and the people who haven't seen these cultures. And, we had Camp Brown when I was growing up. We got outside the city, we saw things. It was run by the brave men and women in law enforcement. So, I don't want us to just look back and look at each other and say, in these times, that we didn't do all we could to step up.
Absolutely.
So I think we all got to step up. We all live in a community that we say is a community, but sometimes we don't all step up. We got to get along. Everybody talking about these codes and what the code is, but I don't think people know what the code is. We got to recreate our codes and have our communities thriving again. And we can't blame everybody for the things that's going on. We got to blame what we're not doing for the things that don't go on in our community. So we got to step up.
So I'm glad that you said that. When we look at the word community, I don't want y'all to think that we're saying black, right? We are a community of those of us that live with each other. We got black, white,
Yep.
sangria, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. But, being as though Malcolm, you're here and you're a part of our community.
Yep.
And obviously we was a part of your community. Nobody reached out to you. Nobody was like, hey, help us. Like, you just showed up one day and was like, how can I help? And you came not just with a check, but you came with your hands, your labor. And I looked up and you was in the middle of paradise with us handing out. I'm like, who's the white boy? So he got a name. They call him White Boy Malcolm. You got to say it the whole way. A white boy named Malcolm. Can you get it? A white boy named Malcolm. Okay. So what prompted you to, get into this? You could have sent the community check to whatever. I know y'all got to, earmark this money for community or whatever, what have you. What made you want to give and get down where it is, and what prompted you about that?
I mean, it comes down to just being a Washingtonian. My mom was a DC public school teacher for 25 years. She taught at Van Ness, she taught at Tyler, and my business partner, Amin Hussein, always talked about it, and I would see all the stuff my friends posting like, oh, we got to help the community. I didn't see any of them actually helping the community. So I reached out to you, CJ, and was like, how can my company, Optima, help you guys? And I saw you and what Herb's doing over at LES and We Fit DC. And it's just incredible because as Washingtonians, whether you're black, white, Latino, we all got to help each other because it's our city at the end of the day. And as developers and contractors, I see so many development going on. We've seen how Navy Yards change. We've seen how Ward 8 is changing. Their Berry Farms is no longer even there anymore. We can't just develop those communities and then give nothing back and then say, all right, go to PG County. It's just not right. So as a company, we want to show our face there and be part of the change and not just take and be part of the problem.
I respect that. Come on, we can appreciate that.
And that's interesting that you say that because, a lot of developers don't speak like that. I talk to a lot of developers and they do just take from our communities and don't give back. DC was almost 80% African American and they just pushed people out without, they say affordable housing, but it's not affordable anymore. You know, how do we put ourselves in that position and with developers and make it affordable to live in our city? Because a lot of people that's in Maryland want to really come back to DC. You know, how do we do that?
I think it starts with working with your politicians and rezoning, and instead of just developing new apartment buildings in Navy Yard, like build gyms, build youth centers. You have youth centers on every corner, gives people an area to get out the street. And I can't really speak as somebody that grew up in these Ward 8 inner city areas, but there needs to be development from within to actually make a change. And that's why I see programs like SOS and LES and what CJ's doing. That's what it's saving yourself from within.
Yep.
And I think the politicians need to jump on board. I think our current mayor, Mayoral Browser, needs to jump on board, and that's just at Optima. We want to join in and do that and help the community from within.
So you know what?
And that's providing jobs and providing economic opportunities. Like the state's attorney said, it's all economics.
No, I agree.
I think, you know, you make a better decision with $8,000 than you do with 80. You know, and what I mean by that is, I'm gonna make as a 15, 16, 17, 18 gainfully employed young man. If my friends come around the block in an Impala, and there's 3 of them, and there's a 4th seat, and they like, let's go spin on these youngsters. If I got $8,000 in the house, I might be thinking about going to Cancun or something, or trying to do something different.
Yeah.
If I got $80 in my pocket, then that sounds like a good idea. So the economics of it all does make sense. But at the same time, we can build better recs, we can get better monies, we can get these youngest jobs. And I do want to pivot back to the mental health piece and with school, because we sold drugs in front of the rec. We shot out at the rec. The rec became our spot. It became the strip. So I don't think it's a matter of just facilities and programs and things of that nature. Like, we really got to teach people how to think once we get them the job. Or once we get them to rec to hang out, then what's the thinking? How do you handle conflict? So in mental health, what you're saying, I think the greatest mission field in the world is our schools,
Yes.
right? All our kids are in the schools. And you're right, we got to get better parenting, because when was the last time you've been to a PTA? Or when was the last time you've been to your kid's school? Like, we going to be honest.
I'm a member of my daughter's PTO because I felt like I want to be right there in the middle of it. And I tell parents to be a part of that, because you're right. It's not a lot of people in the PTAs no more, and the PTOs, and we got to get involved. I want to be close to my kids.
I went to Dads and Donuts. Y'all ever heard Dads and Donuts at the school? I went to Dads and Donuts at my son's elementary school, and
It sounds cute, though.
I was everybody's dad.
Right.
You know, the teachers was in love with, like, oh my God, no men show up. Like, that's a real situation. But even if we showing up and we being responsible, let's look at mental health in and of itself. We talking about a pandemic, right? Gun violence. Ask yourself this: when you was in the 3rd grade, did any of your friends get killed? No. Your 3rd grade friends?
No.
Was any of them shot? No. Okay. Was it a pandemic where none of y'all could go outside?
No.
Let's look at another thing. Could you watch police killing people that look like you in the 3rd grade? So now that we know that we've seen all these things with 3rd graders right now, what is the mental health that's being done intentionally from our leaders to us that's in the community to get into these schools? I think if we can teach them to think it up, then maybe they won't shoot it up. How do we get our legislation and our people, right? Y'all was supposed to clap on that. That was a good one right there. How do we get people to take something that's good for them that they really don't like?
Yeah.
With mental health in schools, how do we?
You just they have to start incorporating it in the school. You know, it's a stigma, and it was never cool to say, hey, I think I may need to talk to someone. You know, and some kids don't have anyone to talk to. But thinking back, being in school, we always had that one cool teacher or a guidance counselor, you know, you could talk to. But it's just, right now, I think more so now, it's easier to talk about it. Kids are feeling more comfortable. And us in the community bringing awareness where we set up these community events where we could have like mental health screenings where they bringing their loved ones, the community is coming together, and once you see one person doing it, normally, most people are followers. So if they see someone that looks like them and they're doing this, they're gonna follow.
Herb is still on the line? So, Herb, if you can hear me, I know that you guys are doing some things as far as in the school system in DC and working with different schools. What do you think the approach, not the approach, but how should therapy look with school-age kids that some of them really, I know parents would be like, well, I don't want you at school telling my business. You know what I mean? But mama ain't really ready to not live like a,
And that's
Yeah.
the thing, starting with us, parents, the adults. It starts with us because they look up to us, and that's where the trauma starts. So
Yeah.
making sure that our leaders, our parents, are seeking the help that they need as well. Because again, working with the children, you can work with them all day, but if they're going back home facing the same traumas, you kind of set